got our first look at the man who killed Nick Martin.
The prosecution star witness, that's the paid assassin who pulled the trigger at the Perth Motorplex on December 12, 2020, was in the Supreme Court to give his first day of testimony.
Explains the beefed up security.
Right now, this bloke is probably the most protected person in Australia. That's what happens when you're giving evidence against a man who used to be a rebel and a Comanchero and is now a Mongol, which is how David Pye's curriculum vitae reads.
And we still can't say who the shooter is.
Or even show a proper courtroom sketch. But we can tell you what he said, including that Pye allegedly told him, and I quote, he wanted to kill Nick Martin himself, blow holes in him with a .357 or something like that.
Explosive.
Look, by 2020, Dave Pye wasn't the only bikie who wanted to knock off Martin, allegedly, but hearing it out loud was still a bit of a jolt. Didn't seem to shock old mate Assassin Boy though, because he told the court he then made a joke about how bikies could never seem to hit what they were aiming at.
Stupid, but great.
That's the kind of wisecrack that sees you end up sitting inside a courthouse that's surrounded by TRG, in a courtroom flooded with security and sealed off by protective glass panels, inside a witness box that itself is sealed off by protective glass panels. Seriously, this bloke wouldn't be fresh if he came to court in Tupperware. Tupperware!
Sniper paints himself as a tech-savvy mercenary with a heart.
The very picture of a modern Major General, or whatever rank he got to when he was in the Army Reserves. Shooter told the court he coached Pye on how to install and use the encrypted messaging app Wires. That was after Pye allegedly DM'd him on Instagram.
Do you even want to hang out? Oh, that's considerate.
Said Pye's account name was Dave FTP.
FTP?
The police. He also claims Pye expressed interest in volunteering overseas for Shadows of Hope, the mercenaries who looked after doctors in war zones, A-Team style.
Ah, great idea.
The sniper told the court that after working out what FTP meant, he told Pye, we work in countries that don't have police forces, you wouldn't last 2 seconds here.
So brave and so stupid.
Also said he had PTSD.
He'd heard the drug MDMA could help with the trauma. Said drug, though, was in short supply because of COVID, so he reached out to Pye cause, and I quote, he was the dodgiest person I knew, he's a bikie, he can get MDMA when everyone else can't.
So by this stage he knew Pye was a Comanchero.
Yeah, though he was a bit confused at first. Told the court that when Pye said, I'm a commo, he thought he meant he was a communist.
Communist? I'm not a communist.
Shooter gave evidence that Pye asked him to kill a woman, to which he replied, I don't kill women, and I'm a bit offended that you would even ask. But he was open to taking out Martin, who he said was on Pye's shit list because their relationship soured when he defected with members of the Rock City to the Comancheros. Rock City being the Rockingham chapter of the rebels at the time. The shooter said, he told me that Nick Martin ordered a hit on him and he wanted to get a hit on Nick Martin. It's all very Reservoir Dogs.
And he accepted the contract.
Allegedly. He built a book on Martin, meaning he worked up a case file about the best way to kill him, taking into consideration the target's movements. Cased his house with a drone bought from JB Hi-Fi. Stalked his target like an obsessive girlfriend.
'Cause I'd find you.
And finally zeroed in on the Perth Motorplex in Kwinana as the best place to carry out the killing.
This was a public execution in front of children in a crowd of 3,000.
Says 20 minutes after the shooting, he got a message over wire from Pye with 2 coffins and a clapping emoji, to which he messaged 2 ? With Pye replying 1 dead, 1 critical, 1 dead being Nick Martin, 1 critical being Ricky Chapman, who was sitting next to Rick Martin.
Compelling testimony.
It was, and he answered every question calmly and methodically, which is good for the prosecution, because if the sniper isn't believable, the whole case against David Pye falls over. 2 curveballs thrown on day 2 of the trial though. The first is that Pye ordered the assassination of a prominent Perth gym owner.
It's Laurie Potter's membership. Call now.
No, it wasn't him. We weren't told the name of the target, but the hit was called off before anyone was locked and loaded. The second and more substantive curveball came when the sniper told the court that Nick Martin had once raped one of his ex-girlfriends. He told the court, I was seeing a girl, I was single at the time, I had a few relationships going on, and she texted me after we hadn't spoken in a while and she told me she was raped by Nick Martin and we talked about that.
A new motive now in play.
And you can bet the defence lawyers will have a field day on cross-examination. I'm Ben Harvey.